Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and what we have to talk about today is not confirmed. It is not what I would really call news yet at this point. But it is a big rumor and really big speculation going around. And if it does end up being true, if what people are thinking is right, it could end up being absolutely massive crazy news coming out of the LEC. So we do know that Schalke has reportedly been looking towards and has been in the process of selling their LEC slot. Obviously, Schalke as an organization, not like an esports division, but as an entire organization, has been having a lot of financial issues. COVID has not been very friendly to them. Relegation is not friendly to them. They've been looking to sell their LEC slot. The value has been said to be reportedly around, like, I think $36 million or $40 million or something like that, because that says 30 million euros, and that's really crazy. And a couple of weeks ago, I think Esports Maniacos did say that BDS, their report was that BDS was going to be buying the Schalke spot, and that's kind of what we've been going with. Even Wooloo tweeted that out, but there might be another team in the mix. Maybe, we're not 100% sure, but maybe not so fast. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate it so much, and subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. With that being said, let's talk about this one. So again, Wooloo is usually really good. Esports Maniacos usually really good. Nobody's 100%, and they're not even wrong yet. This is still their report. They haven't really seen anything else that I've said or that I've seen. So we know that Wooloo has shared previously that BDS was one of the serious candidates for the slot. They know more recently that they were the highest bidder. When we go to Wooloo's account, also we will see that he did some research about the BDS owner. BDS comes from this guy's name, Patrice Bilo de Spolberch. I don't know exactly how to say that. But the net worth of his family seems to be around 6 and 12 billion. I would assume euros, so that's even more. The 2015 estimates was around 7 billion euros. So this was going to be a big money team coming into the LEC, and it could still be a big money team coming to the LEC, but anyway, it just proves that they have the money to not only buy the slot, but to come into the league, be very competitive. Obviously, just because you have a bunch of money doesn't mean you're all going to spend it on an esports team or anything like that, but you'd at least have the option if they are committed to it, if they do really want it. That was going to be there, but it just gave more credence to this Team BDS coming to the LEC. Now, people were hyped up, people were excited, it was a thing, but recently we got maybe a little wrench thrown into the whole thing with Leaker Zoo. This was all over Reddit, all over Twitter, a bunch of people talking about this. Tweeting this out, that Man City Esports tweeted a bunch of eye emojis. They tweeted June 24th, and they said 6 p.m. BST. Now, I don't know what BST time is. I didn't look it up. I didn't Google it. I probably should have, but this is tomorrow, June 24th. We potentially have some big news coming from Man City Esports. So, you know, you see a tweet, you see a bunch of eye emojis, a guy like me who's into rumors, speculation, craziness, big stuff. I get some fire emojis or some eye emojis, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to start lighting up, and that's what a lot of other people have been doing as well. Obviously, there was this, Reddit thread and everything going on. Man City Esports has since deleted this tweet, but I was able to still get it too. There is some people being like, welcome to the LEC. There are some people saying maybe it's a new kit. That would be funny as well. I do think another option is potentially Man City Esports could maybe be getting into a European regional league or something like that. Just because to me it would be weird if all these different sources are tweeting about BDS and saying that BDS is close to finalizing buying out the LEC slot, and then Man City just comes out of nowhere. Could it be that BDS retracted their offer or they're kind of backing out on maybe being the highest bidder or whatever? Like, yeah, it is possible. It's much easier to make a big offer for 30 million euros, to be throwing that around than it is to actually cut the check, to actually sign it and send it over, and to actually pay that money, because you have to justify it. You have to say, is that going to be actually a sound investment? Are we actually going to make money on this? Can I convince other investors, people to actually spend this kind of money? Because not everyone's just willing to cut that check themselves, and especially if they can't even, figure out the financial means to it, like to make it make sense. Because I know we had a lot of people commenting like, you're not making 30 million euros back in the LEC anytime soon, or maybe ever. And I don't know if I completely agree with that. I think if things keep going the way they are, I think we do kind of expect to see, especially LEC, League of Legends being the premier esport. If things keep going the way they are, I think you could definitely see that. We see a ton of teams over in the LCS right now where, maybe money's a little bit better, and investors and sponsors and brands and all that are maybe a little bit more expensive, and you can make a little little bit more money, but the valuations of those teams are going absolutely crazy, and they're all centered around that League of Legends spot, that having that LEC, that LCS spot, whatever it may be. So maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not, who knows? Maybe BDS retracted their offer, maybe they dropped down a little bit, maybe Man City came out of nowhere at the last minute and upped them. Maybe they knew the offer that was on the table, they saw what it was, and they were like, hey, we can beat that offer, we can come in with something better, and it makes sense to us. I don't know for sure. But if it's a crazy number higher than that 30 million, that would be super, super surprising to me. If it is a number that is lower than that 30 million and maybe, some things went wrong, because Riot does have to approve all these moves. Riot does get a say in this process. Schalke cannot just sell that slot to whoever they want. Or again, if BDS pulled back and then Man City comes in, obviously Riot would love to have these big organizations, Schalke being a big soccer organization before, Man City obviously being a big soccer organization. When you look at the LCS, all kinds of basketball teams and big time investors like that. So Riot is no stranger to working with big traditional sports organizations. I don't know that I'm the biggest fan of it, because honestly, we've seen a lot of things go wrong with these traditional sports organizations. Obviously, we're seeing Schalke have to sell out on this slot, and having to sell your slot is honestly really, really bad for the LEC. Part of franchising is building brands, building organizations, building franchises over time that attract more fans, that actually have stories to tell, that have years and years and years of building up fan bases, brands, social medias, all that stuff, and building up a history, and having to cut that short just already a couple of years in, that's really, really not what the LEC wants. The LEC wants consistent teams, not consistently bad teams, not consistently irrelevant teams that nobody cares about or anything like that, but the good teams, the teams that are actually compelling and interesting and can build up fan bases. That's what you want. You don't want a revolving door of teams, because then we would just go right back to relegations. If that's what you wanted, that's a better system for getting teams in and out. But if you want to build stability and you want to build long-term, something that's going to last, like the LEC definitely wants to do, and the LCS wants to do, and the LCK and the LPL, that's definitely how you have to do it. But again, getting a good team in is always great. But these organizations, like we see with the NBA and Schalke, they're not necessarily focused on esports. Yes, they can still put a good manager in place for their esports division, and they can still get good staff and everything, and it can still go well. But as soon as you get relegated, as soon as a crazy pandemic happens, that's what we saw with the NBA teams too, the money stops coming in. Things stop working out. Golden Guardians had an awesome team in the LCS last year, and then COVID hits, and right now they're right back to being one of the worst teams in the LCS. They're back to being irrelevant. Schalke has a crazy year last year. They're decent this spring, and now they're right back to nowhere. They got to sell off Abadage. They get rid of Gilius. It kind of rubs me the wrong way when we don't have organizations focusing on esports, when we have traditional sports organizations trying to make esports part of their thing, but not even that large of their organization or part of their thing. So I don't know. Obviously, Man City would be hype. It would bring esports to potentially a new audience. We've heard all these things before. But to me, I think I would honestly rather have focused entire traditional esports orgs as the majority of the teams in the LCS and the LEC. But I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be hyped up and excited as well. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below. What do you think Man City's big announcement is going to be? Is it the LEC? Is it ERLs? Is it nothing to do with League of Legends at all? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!